Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my esteemed honor and pleasure to present to you the Hurricane himself, Mr. Peter McNeely. How you doing today, champ?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much, Arvid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, I'm glad you took the time out to join our show, the 13th round today. We won't hold you long, but we want to get your opinion and expertise on a couple of questions and also dive back into your boxing career. So,
yes, sir.
Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, you come from a boxing family. I've done my research on this.
I am a third generation pro boxer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And ironically that you say that, let's go back 2 generations. Your grandfather, Thomas McNeely Sr., boxed on the 1928 Olympic boxing team. That is amazing. How's that?
He did not. He did not. What it was he won the national AAU boxing tournament. He won it as a light heavyweight. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I mean, it was 1928, 1929. They had, they didn't have jet airliners then.
That's right. Yeah, about 1928. That was around the time. Okay, so
it'd be a long boat ride to the Olympics.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My grandfather, Tom McNeely Sr., fought on the opening night, a preliminary fight on a championship undercard between Andre Rudis and Honey Boy Finnegan at the old Boston Garden.
The real Boston Garden, and he said Honey Boy Finnegan. That is a Hall of Fame name right there.
Yeah. Hey, like they say, the parquet.
So the apple does not fall far from the tree. Your father,
my father, Tom McNeely Jr., fought Floyd Patterson for the heavyweight championship of the world.
That's right.
December 4th, 1961. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to send you a picture of what I just got this. It's my dad. Let me see how I do it.
Let's see the picture. Show it to us now. We want to see it. Show the world real quick.
Trying to figure out how to do it right now.
Look, we'll show me the picture afterwards. If you can't show it now, it's all good. I'll see it in a minute.
Yeah.
So Peter, at what age did you start boxing?
Well, as far as boxers go, I got a late start. I did not start till between my freshman and sophomore year of college. I went to Bridgewater State College in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, right next to Brockton, the city of champions.
Yes. Brockton, Massachusetts.
So, but growing up, I go up in my parents' attic, and I found my dad on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Sweet.
And he was on the cover of Ring magazine.
Come on.
Yeah.
So as an amateur boxer, as an amateur boxer, you had 21 fights. You finished 15 and 6.
That's it.
And you got your most notable win against a number one ranked contender named James Johnson. Do you recall that fight? Can you tell us about that fight?
Well, I owe that fight to at the time, the future WBO middleweight champion of the world, Irish Steve Collins.
Steve Collins, yes, sir.
I sparred more rounds with him than either one of us could count. But what it was he was fighting on a Friday night on ESPN. I was fighting on a Thursday night in the New England Diamond Belt Tournament. It was May 1989, and you know what? Now heavyweight in the amateurs back then, if you were less than 201 pounds, you were a heavyweight. Anything over 201 was a super heavyweight.
Okay.
So it was only my 8th amateur fight, but I could have beat the world as a spar with Collins. I sparred with Collins for 5 weeks before that fight.
Yeah. I sharpens iron.
I was 195 pounds, and you know, and I had friends of mine from the college that went to the fight. It was in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is basically Boston. You know what I mean?
So the word on the amateur circuit with USA Boxing is that you knocked James Johnson out in 1 round.
Yes.
Yes,
I did.
I
hit him with a beautiful, I faked the left, and I threw the right hand, the left hook right behind it, and knocked him down.
And that was all she wrote.
Well, no, he got up. I showed the film to a friend of mine just in the last week, and I sat him down, and he got up, and he did a little stutter step, like he almost went down again. But the referee let it continue.
Oh.
And like you could see how raw and not not as sharp as I could have been. But I rained a barrage of blows on him, and he almost went down again. The referee had to catch him from going down again.
Yeah.
And that was it, over.
At that point, he waved the fight off.
But now, to show you how good James Johnson was, I ended up turning pro August 23rd, 1991.
Right.
But Johnson hung around the amateurs for a whole other year, or actually, I'm sorry, hung around for like 2.5 more years, and he made it to the finals of the Olympic trials.
Come on.
Yeah, yes.
That's right. So that tells you that man was a great boxer.
Yeah,
and not only was he great, you were even greater that night when you beat him.
You know what? I owe it all. I owe it all to training hard. I trained hard.
God be the glory. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you did the right thing, training hard.
But and that was I was at that time. I was boxing, sparring at the Petronelli gym in Brockton, the home of Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I sparred countless rounds with Hagler's little brother, Rockin' Robbie Sims.
Okay. That's Marvin Hagler's brother, Rockin' Robbie Sims, huh?
He can fight. He can fight too.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
I tell you, the guy now I see that James Tony. You interviewed James, right?
Yes, sir. That's my partner. That's a good friend of mine.
Hey, he can listen. One of the greatest. He is one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. All right?
Yes, sir. I totally agree.
That's a fact. But I sparred many, many countless rounds with a guy that beat James Stoney. A guy named, he's from Malawi, Africa. His name was Drake Thadzi.
Drake Facci.
Drake Thadzi.
That, yeah, okay. Okay.
He caught James on a bad night. He beat him on a decision in Taunton, Massachusetts. I know it was at some point in the 90s. It might have been later 90s. I'm not sure, but
right.
But if you look up James Stoney record, Drake beat him on a decision.
And it's not many that can say that.
No.
Not many can say that beat James Stoney.
No.
That's right.
All right, now I sparred many, many rounds with the champ from Chelsea, John Ruiz.
Come on, yeah.
Sparred many rounds with him. And now, when John was in the Olympic trials and all that, he went far in the Olympic trials too. But he lost to somebody. But I know this: he beat Jeremy Williams.
Okay.
Who's another great boxer.
Yeah. Especially around that era, you're speaking of that 90s era of boxing, probably one of the toughest eras and very comparable to the 70s, if not better. So, I do.
You know what? I would have to agree with you.
I'm telling you, man, if half of these fighters in the 90s fought in today's era, man, they would wipe these guys out. Very tough competition back in the 90s.
The 80s, the 70s, 80s. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
No, I was just telling you. I said around the 90s. If you guys who were fighting in that era were fighting in today's era, a lot of you would have wiped these champions out in today's era.
You never know. You never know. Now, if I was able to, I'd fight tomorrow night. I still weigh. Now, with the Tyson fight, at the weigh-in, I weighed 224. Mike weighed 220. They re-weighed us 1 hour before the fight.
How much did he rehydrate?
I was 220. Tyson was 216.
Oh, man.
Mike Tyson at 216 pounds. First fight out of prison. He was.
So the year. Hold on. Let me kind of give you a prelude to that point. The year for everybody who don't know, the year right now is 1995. Mike Tyson is just being released from prison. So, Peter, tell me, how did you find out that you were going to fight Mike Tyson?
Well, I mean, my manager was my promoter, he was my manager, and he was my coach. And he was what they call a real fight guy.
Yeah.
This guy knew every angle, in and out, And I was so lucky. When I was coming out of the Petronelli gym one night, he was waiting for me. And he said, "Hey, I'm Vinny Vecchione, and I played semi-pro football with your Uncle Brian, and of course I know your father, Big Tom." And I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "I was hoping you could come to next to Brockton. There's another town called Whitman, a couple miles down the road in Whitman, and spar with guy named Paul Poirier, and Paul Poirier had made a comeback after 15 years out of the fight game.
Okay.
But when he retired, his record was like 26-0.
Right.
You know, he had some crazy record, but he stopped fighting because of his religion, the church he was in. So, but he needed the money, and he made a comeback after 15 years. So I said to him, okay, no problem. He says, now I'm in college, and I don't have 2 nickels to rub together. and Vinny said, I'll give you some money too for sparring. Hey, thank you. I'll see you there. So I sparred with Poirier once, and Vinny said to the owner of the South Shore Boxing Club, who is Cliff Fippen, who became my assistant trainer and cut man. Vinny said to Cliff, this kid is the best young prospect in the area. And Cliff said to me, really? And he goes, yes, you watch. So I had my last amateur fight with Vinny. I scored a KO at Anthony's Ballroom in Somerville, basically Boston, on Highland Ave in Somerville. I got a knockout, and then Vinny said, Peter, he started talking to me a couple months later. He said, Peter, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know, Vinny. He goes, do you want to go back up to Lowell? Lowell is the scene of the Golden Gloves here in Massachusetts.
Right.
The New England Golden Gloves championships are at the Lowell Auditorium, with Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island, Holyoke, Western Mass, they all converge in Lowell. And so he says, you want to go to Lowell and fight for a trophy? I said, I don't know, Vinny. And then he said, do you know where I keep my trophies, Peter? I said, no, Vinny, where? He said, in my wallet.
Prize fighter, keep the cash there.
Hey,
right.
Hey, the guy was priceless. Priceless. So but V had the connections, and what people don't know is that I fought 37 fights. This is on the way to Tyson. 37 fights.
That's
in
right.
44 months.
You fought, listen, you started off your career 24-0. You won 24 of your first 25 fights.
Yes.
Took a hard loss, but then you came back with 12 straight victories.
Came back with that.
12 straight victories. You won 10 of those by knockout. At that point in your career, how high was your confidence?
Very, always high. I mean, always high. As long as Vinny always said this. He said, Peter is as loyal as the day is long. And he said, and Peter will always come to fight.
That's right. So, now tell me about finding out about Tyson. When you got that call, how did that feel? Were you nervous? Were you excited? You know, how did you feel when you found out you were going to be Tyson's first fight coming out of jail?
Tyson got out, I believe it was late January or February. So they gave him like a couple of months to unwind or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we signed, we flew to Vegas, They had a big press conference at the MGM Grand. The MGM Grand had just been built like less than 1 year earlier.
That's right.
And so Tyson had contracts. Well, at this time, I had already been under contract to Don King. I was already under a promotional contract.
Okay.
And so, when you in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, if you want to get to any big fight, it's either King, Bob Arum, or the Duvas.
That's right.
And so now Vinny had a connection with Don King. His name was Al Braverman.
Okay.
And Al was like, all right, like if you see fights, the old fights, 70s or early 80s, if you saw if a guy was being trained by Al Braverman, in the entourage, you'd see Don King without walking the fighter into the ring. So, like, Al taught Don a lot of the business.
Yes. So I got you. That's right. He was under Don and learned a lot from him.
Vinny had done a favor for Al, like in the early 70s. And Al never forgot Vinny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he said, Vinny, I know you know what you're doing. When you think he's ready, call me and we'll sign him up with Don. And it happened. June of 1994, I signed a promotional contract with Don King.
With Don King promotion. And ironically, man, Don King is still at it. Right now, Don King is still promoting fighters to this day. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. Hey, good for him.
Listen, that's right.
You know what? No. However, Don and Mike Tyson treated each other, or whatever happened to them was between them. Wasn't my business. But Don treated us great. I did 5 fights under Don King Productions.
So,
and
let's talk about the Tyson fight a little bit more in depth. Can you tell me how was your preparation for the fight? Were you in the best shape of your life? Did you train as hard as you could have for that fight?
Armand.
Yes, sir.
Are you where are you today exactly? What state are you in?
We're in Louisiana.
My training camp for Mike Tyson was in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Man, that gotta be hard though with all that good food around to be in Louisiana and be in training camp. You know, if you're not from here, so I know it took a lot of distance.
Now, Bo Williford was from Lafayette.
Okay.
You remember Bo?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Now, Bo got us fights. He had us fight in Fort Smith, Arkansas twice. And we fought in the capital city of Arkansas. But, like things, like you just knew, all right, when you went Don King, you just knew eventually good things were going to happen for your career.
That's right. And Don King gets a lot of slack from a lot of people. They like to say that he robbed a lot of fighters. But me personally, I think Don King was more fan-friendly because all the big fights happened under Don King's banner. All the big fights, man. The Ali Frazier's, Tyson McNeely.
Armin, I got one thing to say to you.
Yeah.
Only in America, baby.
Only in America, baby. so look, let me ask you this. What was your game plan going into the fight with Tyson? Did you want to take him in the deep waters? Did you want to go out there and just knock him out quick? What was your game plan going into the fight that night?
All right, now, I had 30. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish. Tell me, what's your game plan? I'm listening to you.
I said what I said at the press cards, but it was merely just to, for the, it was like this press cards where we signed the contract was, it was huge. It was huge because it was the first fight out of prison. So, like, there were more people at that press cards than were at a lot of my fights before Tyson. It was pretty crazy. Phone ringing off the hook. But that's why Vinny wanted to take me down to Louisiana, to Lafayette, to get me away from everybody and everything and train our asses off.
That's right, yes, sir.
Now, Bo Williford had something happened at his gym. Something happened. They had a fire. Fire. So they built the ring in Bo's driveway.
Come on. However you gotta get it, you gotta get it. Yes, sir.
So I sparred every day.
In the front yard?
In his driveway.
Yes, sir.
We had professional sparring partner, freight train Gary Lane.
Gary Lane, yes, sir.
And
come on.
Sparred with him for, I actually sparred with him for better part of a year. But when I'd spar with Gary for a week or two, and then go back and spar with my regular sparring partners, it was like I was that much better after sparring with him.
That's right. They say when you spar someone, you take something from them and they take something from you. Hopefully it's good both ways.
Right. And that's just like going back to Irish Steve Collins for that big win I had in the amateurs.
That's right. So all that was great preparation for your
you're
success.
You're only as good as your sparring partner.
That's right. That's right. So if you had to rate Mike Tyson's power 1 to 10, what'd you give it?
Well, like Mike Tyson at that time was like, all right. Now, the one thing that amazed me about him was his shoulders. From shoulder to shoulder was like wide, and like people exaggerate about his height. I'm 6'2", but Mike was like 5'11" and a half, 6 foot. You know what I mean?
Right.
So people exaggerate that, but the man was all right. Now I had 25 first round knockouts.
Yes, sir.
Out of 36 KOs, but so it was not a big secret. I'm coming at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you did just that too.
And my thing was this, and I try to tell this to the young guys I help coach at a gym about less than 10 miles away from me in Lawrence, Massachusetts. I help coach guys there. And I always tell them, I said, listen, before whether it's amateur or pro, before you want to be sweating, so warmed up that you like your body, you want your body to think it's like the third or fourth round.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you're loosened up, you're all ready to go, and that's a good idea that I tell these young men, these kids. That's what you want. Trust me, because you want your body warmed up. You want that engine running, man.
That's right. Let me ask you this. So was Mike Tyson the hardest puncher you ever faced? Or did you fight someone who hit harder than him?
You know what? Now, Mike, what was amazing about Mike was, of course, he had power. But it was the speed with the power.
Combined, yes.
The man, I don't care what you say about him, he had speed. And speed and power is a bad combination. Now,
yeah, they say the ones you don't see put you down.
At the end, Mike pulled the little trick on me, because I got a DVD of the fight from all the different angles, because my oldest brother Tom was the head producer of the NHL, hockey.
Yeah.
He worked for ESPN for over 25 years. And my brother won an Emmy Award for his production of the NHL. But he had made connections. And one of the connections he made was David, the mayor of New York City's son, David Dickens Jr. was the Showtime producer of fights. So my brother got the back then he got a tape, and then I had it converted into a DVD. But you can see from all the different angles. It's good. It's good stuff.
Next question I got for you: Are you still a big fan of boxing? And if so, what are some of the fighters that you like to watch?
I'll tell you who I watched win. And everybody says Lomachenko is the next thing to Sugar Ray Leonard or Marvin Hagler, and I called it. And the owner of the boxing club I helped coach at, it's called Intense Boxing Club, Lawrence, Mass.
Shout out to Intense Boxing Club.
Yes, Intense. And my friend Nino, I watch it at Nino's house. And we watch Teofimo beat Lomachenko.
That was during the pandemic. Great fight.
Yeah, yes. And man, thank God I never got anything close to COVID. Never got it. And thank God. And myself and Nino watched it at his house.
So let me ask you this. Since we brought up Vasily Lomachenko, he has an upcoming bout with Devin the Dream Haney. Who do you think is going to win that fight between Lomachenko and Devin Haney?
That is a tough fight.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to say I like Haney.
You like Haney in that fight?
You?
Haney's a lot bigger than Loma. So.
Who do you think?
Oh, you got me on the spot. All right.
Woo!
If I had to put my money on it, I'm going to say Devin Haney. My heart wants to say Lomachenko. The reason I say that is because I believe Vasily Lomachenko is a great fighter, and great fighters do great things when it's time to do great things. So this is a big turning point in Loma's career, and I feel like he really needs this victory. So maybe he pulls a rabbit out the hat. You know, Devin hasn't had the best competition to say he's undisputed. He won that belt from Kambosos, who beat Teofimo Lopez.
Right.
So I don't feel like Devin fought the best competition in that division yet. And I feel like Loma is Devin's toughest test. And we've seen Devin Haney get chin checked when he fought Jorge Linares. You know, Linares hit him with a hard shot.
What happens to that fight?
What'd you say?
What happens with that fight?
Between Haney and Lomachenko?
No.
Linares?
Linares.
Haney won the fight by decision, but I forget if it's either round 9 or round 10. At the end of one of those rounds, Linares hit him with a hard-ass shot, and Haney didn't know what corner to go to at the bell. Haney was confused. Linares had to help him to the corner. And guess what, Pete? The rest of the fight, Haney was hugging Linares because he couldn't get his legs back up. So he was in the clinch the whole time. So I'm saying that to say, if Loma can hit Haney with a good shot and get up on these scorecards, maybe, just maybe, he can beat Haney. We will see. That is a tough fight. I just had to get your opinion, and I'm glad you asked your mind.
I'm glad you brought it up.
That's right. I got another one for you. All right.
Shoot.
All right. This is going to be the last one. I might have 2 more, but this is the last one. I got a bonus one after this. We got Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. Who do you like in that fight? Fury and Usyk.
I like Usyk.
You like Usyk over Fury? Come on. Yes, sir. You heard it here first. Peter McNeely is picking Alexander Usyk to upset Tyson Fury. Yes, sir.
But they just can't seem to put the fight together.
Man, these guys man, it's so hard to get these fights, man. I'm hoping that the climate changes in boxing and we start getting the fights that we need to get. Everybody's are prima donnas nowadays. You know, they want this, they want that. Hey, man, just get in the ring and fight. We got champions that ain't been in the ring in 2 years. Back in the day, they would have stripped your belt a long time ago if you ain't defending it. You know?
Correct.
That's right. So, last one I'm going to ask you about. It's rumors. This fight has been supposed to happen. This fight is over 3 or 4 years past due. Hopefully, this fight is happening around the midpoint to late point in the summer.
I know. Bud Crawford.
Bud Crawford. That's who you going with over Spence?
Yes.
So Peter McNeely says Terrence Bud Crawford beats Spence. Hey, man, listen. You ain't so bad. You kind of sharp because I'm actually starting to lean towards Bud Crawford myself in that fight. You would have asked me a few years ago, I would say Errol Spence beats Bud Crawford. But now I'm starting to lean more towards Bud Crawford. Crawford's always in the gym. He's always in shape. And we've been seeing these mishaps with Spence. And Spence is not as active as Bud is. So
You know why?
Why?
Because Bud's mother told him, you ever lose again, don't come home.
And he ain't lost since. He ain't lost this, Pete.
Hey,
Yeah, man. So
I love how Carver's a hometown boy, like I was.
yes, sir. So
Like I
I
was
got one.
Medfield.
Do you remember your famous quote? Your famous quote from that press conference with Tyson.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night watching Kick Tyson's ass.
Yes, sir.
If you haven't made your pay-per-view arrangements yet, make them soon. Because you know what happens when I wrap you in my cocoon.
Oh yeah, baby. So, champ, I'm gonna get you to do one more thing. One more thing for me. I want you to just tell the world who you are one more time and tell them to go subscribe to Rounds Boxing Club.
I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. And please subscribe to my good friend here, Rounds Boxing.
Or I'm gonna kick your ass. Period, baby.
Rounds Boxing Club.
Thank you, Coach Peter McNeely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have. Peter, I really thank you, champ. The pleasure was all mine.
Wait a second.
You are one in a million.
Before we go.
Don't rush what you got for me.
I'm going to show you this.
I want to see. Let me see.
This is where the dream began for me. Hold on. I'm going to take it to the light so you can see it better.
Heavy. That looks heavy, man.
Oh, it's heavy, all right. The dream began here. My father fighting, knocking down Floyd Patterson.
That's your daddy putting Floyd Patterson on the canvas?
Yep.
Let's go! Let's go! Yes, sir.
So, as far back as when I was in like the 6th grade at Medfield Public Schools, I'd bring my father's Sports Illustrated into the class and show the kids, this is my father.
That's right, man. That somebody to be proud. And guess what? Your dad was a great man, and you should be very proud of your heritage.
I am. Hey,
that's right.
God bless. I love you, Dad. But it's sad. It's sad to say this, but when my father passed away on October 25th, and we did not bury him till Halloween. And he loved Halloween.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was fitting. But when my father, we got this weirdo snow blizzard later, like October 26th or 27th after he passed. And that's why I waited till Halloween. But my dad's wake, like the blizzard was over, ton of snow on the ground, but his wake was out the door.
Yeah.
Out the door. And it was crazy. It was crazy. Listen now. My father had friends everywhere in Boston. Well, my father was from Cambridge, right in Boston. And there was cops, firefighters. So my father worked for the Department of Corrections, the Mass State Prison System. My dad worked for over 30 years. So cops, firefighters, prison guards, prison workers, I was out the door, and a friend of mine called the wake a party. It's a party celebrating their life.
That's right. That's what it's supposed to be, a celebration of life. That's right.
And Dad's was out the door. I mean, the cops, firefighters, corrections officers, and gangsters. My dad was friends with them all. My dad and friends were in the Boston mob, the Boston Mafia.
That's
So
right.
it's crazy. Everybody loved Dad.
Shout out to your father, man. So y'all sent him out in style. Y'all sent him home in style.
Yeah, he sure did. His dad again.
Well, his dad raised a hell of a man. Your dad raised a hell of a man. Peter McNeely, the pleasure has been all ours. If we're ever out in Boston, man, we're going to have to meet up and do lunch.
Hey, Arvid.
Yes, sir.
Just don't call me late for dinner. I am a heavyweight.
Man, I thank you. I thank you. I'm going to end this live stream, and I'll call you a little bit later, and we'll talk a little bit more, all right?
Thank you very much.
Be blessed.
God bless and keep punching. Rounds boxing.
Yes, sir. Keep punching, baby. Like, subscribe, protect yourself at all times. We out. Peace.